Summoners, we've got another batch of absolutely amazing fodder, and I've got something special. We're gonna look at summoning odds and all of that great stuff. Tell me in the comments, who are you summoning for? But let's get right into it. The new near savior here. Wall of Silence, Gilliam. It's interesting. Armors just don't have quite the same impact, but this one has some unique things, in particular in that Fillet and Lance. So we've got Slaying, which is almost a necessity right now. Neutralization to effective against flying bonuses to flying allies within 2 spaces of unit for 1 turn. That's really interesting. And it's another one of these effects that we're seeing, and I enjoy this a lot. I'm not sure how useful that will be on this unit, but he does have some other stuff past that. So if foe initiates combat or foe's HP is greater than 75% at start of combat, you get that whole Spendthrift effect, attack +6 to you, attack -6 to the foe, and inflicts penalty on foe's attack and defense equals 20% of unit's defense at start of combat, and that's not insignificant. Yeah. So I round off and say this is a 40 defense unit. That's 8 against their attack and defense, and that's a total of 14. And then you get 40% damage reduction. So this unit is going to be able to take a hit. The issue is, I mean, as always, if you're talking about Aether Raids, can he outspeed Crom? And I guarantee you, looking at this unit, that answer is no. And, sorry, not Crom, but Seliph. Although he probably can't outspeed Seliph either. He's the right color, but, I mean, yeah, Seliph is just going to bounce off of him, and then Wings of Mercy shenanigans happens, or actually do some damage, because he has true damage in his kit. I'm not seeing it with this unit. Vengeful Fighter 4 is really interesting though. If unit's HP is greater than 25% and foe initiates combat, inflicts attack -4 on foes. So we have an attack debuff. We have the guaranteed follow-up that you know and love, the quick riposte for armors, and then foe cannot make a follow-up attack, which is nice. So it's wary built in, and grants special cooldown charge +1 to unit per attack. It's good. It's interesting, but the enemy phase B for all of armors is Hardy Fighter, and this isn't it. It's interesting, and if you're looking at a mode other than Summoner Duels or other than Aether Raids, this is an interesting skill, kind of. It's more interesting for like Arena. In Arena, this is something that you're probably going to see more often. Maybe, I don't know. I'm not in love with this, and I've really loved the tier 4 skills so far. This is just not it for me. But I think they made Hardy Fighter too powerful. That's the big deal. Like, to outdo Hardy Fighter, I like Savvy Fighter. I mean, that's something you can really lean into the speed, but yeah. Next up, we have Graceful Rider, Cyrene. Thank you for pronouncing your name for me. That way I don't do it wrong. Okay, Pegasus Flight 4 we've seen already. Speed Res Catch 4, which is interesting. This is the first time we've seen it, and it's nice to have it exist. But Flaying Blade. So we've got the slaying. You noticed like for like 3-4 banners we had no slaying, and suddenly it's back. So if foe initiates combat or foe's HP is greater than 75% at start of combat, grants Omni +5 to unit, inflicts penalty on foes, attack speed and defense equals 15% of unit speed at start of combat. And we take our usual 40. We'll just throw out that they have 40 speed. That would be -6 to all of those. Yeah. Neutralizes effects that prevent follow-up attacks. So you got that half no follow-up, and reduces damage from foe's first attack by 40%. This is interesting. If you're a Cyrene fan, I think you can find a use for this unit. I'm assuming she's going to be speedy. It's just a hunch. Speedy sword flyers, there aren't just a ton of them, so it's something that you can work with. dutiful rider, we have our demote Lance. Just what blue needed, another demote. All right, up front Lance, it exists. If foe's HP is greater than 75%, grants attack speed +5 to unit and neutralizes unit's penalties to attack speed during combat. Yeah. Attack res catch 3 in the main pool. Yes, please. 100 times yes. I'm all about this. Bring it on. Other than that, I don't have a whole lot to say. Sorry, Vanessa. And the headliner here, the new Rearmed bow, which so many of you were waiting for. And it's on Tana, and Tana's a fantastic unit. There aren't a whole lot of flyer exclusive skills to pass around, so perhaps the new seals are very good. Something you can give to her, and oh god, I didn't practice that name. Arcane Nastrond. We'll go with that. You've got Slaying. You've got if unit initiates combat or is within 2 spaces of an ally, Omni 5, which is pretty standard for these things. Guaranteed follow-up, which is nice. Reduces damage from foe's first attack, 30%. Grants bonus to unit's attack during combat equals 12 minus foe's max special cooldown count times 2. Okay, so a lot of them have 3, so we'll go with 3. That would drop that down to 9 times 2 is 18. That's a lot. 18 extra attack is not something to sniff at. That's gonna hit pretty hard. This unit should be fairly speedy. You've got attack speed unity, which is so rare, and to have it on an arcane unit is fantastic. Deadeye is not what it used to be, but it's still probably the best special you can get on a bow. Soaring Wings enables Canto 1, already very powerful. Unit can move to a space within 2 spaces of an ally within 2 spaces. So this is a nice warping effect here where that's just fantastic. It's like Ash. Yeah. At start of combat, if unit's HP is greater than 25%, inflicts speed defense minus X on foe during combat. X equals 4 plus number of spaces from start. We've seen this as the clash effect type deal. It's very nice. So it gives extra speed and makes them extra squishy. You guys have seen these type of units before. They're made to try and survive a hit and get that second hit off. Keep in mind with all of this stuff, this is a lot like the Tana that we've had before, the harmonic one, and she'll be able to run Heavy Blade very, very well. So I just keep that in mind with all this stuff going on. It's an option for her. She's not going to run it quite as well, but she'll be very good with it. But then we get to the thing that I'm most excited about. Sorry, guys, I need to increase that. All right, Guidance 4. Infantry and armored allies within 2 spaces can move to a space within 2 spaces of a unit. So this is the Ash effect, but only for infantry and armored units. The real key there is going to be those infantry units. Like that's what you're going to be looking at most. Grants attack speed +3 to infantry and armored allies within 2 spaces of unit during combat, and also, if those allies' speed is greater than foe speed, neutralizes effects that prevents those allies' follow-up attacks during combat. So you give offensive null follow-up, you get attack speed +3 to those units, and they get to warp. This is fantastic. I am thinking in particular, this is amazing for a lot of the Catria balls that we've been seeing. Now the problem is what we've been seeing this most used for is in defenses with blue Ash, so New Year's Ash. And the reason it's so good there is because New Year's Ash can take a hit. it's going to be hard if you're looking at defense and looking at using this here. It's going to be hard to get a unit that can take a hit like that. So probably the way you'd want to set this up is have her in the corner as a rally plus and swoop in, rally the team, and then for them to be able to warp in. But keep in mind that's always shut down by isolation. I don't see isolation a ton anymore, but that is a thing you have to consider if this is something you want to use. Still, this is a good unit. I think there's a lot of uses for this unit. I like ARCANE Nostrand. It's interesting. I don't think it is just absolutely busted, but I think it's going to be a lot of fun to use. I think there are a lot of bows that are going to love this. Mainly, I don't know. We keep on saying that speed is the driving factor in this, and I do believe that just because there's so much null follow-up right now, but we're coming to a point where you just can't compete with speed. Like it's almost, you don't even try. Right? It's gotten to ridiculous points, and you almost just give up on that altogether and rely on the guaranteed follow-up and get a unit that is just super bulky with super bulky with high attack. I don't know. I haven't done sims on these. I am anxious to see what the folks come up with on different units who can use this, but I kind of want to see this on, like, do you guys remember Halloween Jacob? I'm just throwing that out there. It's an interesting thing. I'd like to see how this performs on armor units, just because the reduction of the damage reduction is nice, and a lot of these other things. We'll move along. This is not. You know what? Let's just move along. We've talked enough. We've got another spot that we want to talk more about this unit and the different things that they can do. That's a lot of damage. Obviously, they didn't have Gilliam to help them out there. Got another chapter in the story, which strangely I'm kind of excited about. Man, Guidance 4 is going to be so interesting on my Flame Tana. I've given that unit too many things already. Rearmed, we could go through this. There's a ton of stuff to talk about, though, and I want to talk about Gilliam first. Let's just jump right into the tier list. Summoners, what can I say about this? This is...
But I'm begging you.
This is not a unit that has a very good home right now. Near Saviors don't have just a huge amount of value, just to be completely honest. There are so many very good melee nukes right now, and in order to counter them, you need a very special unit like Arcane Grima to truly counter them. I'm not saying this unit isn't going to be able to, but I've got him in tier 2. The problem is the use case, and we're moving so hard towards Omni tanks now, and you notice Lucia got up there in meta tier at the very first spot, and we talked about this earlier, but I think this is a 1A and 1B thing, and depending on what you've got is depending on which one of those is better. But look at those two units and compare them to this one. Save bowls aren't what they used to be. You can use them less and less in light season and in Astra season. I'd rather have an Omni tank. We don't see a whole lot of defenses with tons of threat range that would require you to go back to Saviors, and the Saviors we've been getting haven't been as busted. They're really pushing you towards Omni tanks, and this one can't compare to those. Tier 2 is still very good. This is not a unit that I would just jump out and say definitely summon for this thing. As far as melee nukes goes, Cyrene is there. She's there. This is not a special unit. Again, if this is one of your favorites, I think you can make her work. I think she'll have a very good Gen 7 stat line. So, but as far as being special or being meta relevant, she's not there. We got Vanessa next, and Vanessa. Do you remember the stint where we just got 300 Lance Flyers? I might have just a little bit of a PTSD from that, but I'm not loving her, and I've got her down in tier 3. So Next up, we have the ranged nukes, and this is not bad. Keep that in mind. One of the things we went back and forth is this unit feels more like a supportive unit. The problem is the only supportive thing about them is that C skill, and you almost want to have that on another unit. I would actually be more interested in seeing different users of Guidance 4 than I would seeing of the Arcane Bow. I think Guidance 4 is more interesting, just to be completely honest. I think Arcane... Shoot, I forgot the name. I think that bow's going to be fun. I don't know that it's going to be particularly meta relevant, whereas I think Guidance 4 has some really, really unique things. I'm just like, honest to God, don't you kind of want to see Ashnard as a frontliner with Guidance 4? I don't know. We'd have to have a really bulky flyer to have them work exactly like Ash has, but I think there's some interesting things there. Again, probably the best use is that rally trap that we were talking about. Still, this unit is going to hit hard, and I mean, a step below Robin is below Crom is really good. Like, this unit, I still think they hit harder than Asker, because I don't think Asker's special thing is that he hits hard. So I keep that in mind. But Summoners, this is a very good unit. Now, we have something special, and I'm so excited about this. So I have revived the Elder V chart. I talked to him about this. We talked way too much about this. I talked to him way too much because he should really be spending time with his family. And yeah, he's got a very demanding job and misses all of you guys and says hi. This is really interesting. And the thing is, right now, if you look at the pool, colorless is the worst color. But the thing that makes a color switch is by getting more 4-star demotes, and they're doing it to blue right here. So they're trying to get blue to catch up. We'll plug it back in after they finish and see what it actually does, but that's going to be an interesting thing to look at. So let's look specifically. You see chances to pull, and yeah. If you want to pull on the 4-star special here with tickets, understand that is a fantastic way to get your feathers and to get your flowers. Like, it really is. You look at the chance, like if you're in the 5 tickets, you got a 50% chance to grab this unit. That's fantastic. Like, that is truly spectacular. So yeah. As far as red goes, second best color. They left green off because they didn't like you guys and didn't want you to summon a whole bunch of them. We've got a 3% chance to pull there, and on tickets you got a 12.6. Fantastic, right? It's okay. But it's better than I thought. I never get units off of tickets, so there must be a lot of you that are getting them off of those. If you're trying to get the Arcane Bow, obviously it's about 12.2. You're doing fantastic. You're probably going to want to go all the way to the Spark on that, though, and you get a 26.3% chance to get her, and hopefully there you've got the Spark. That's another one that I thought was higher. So I'm finding out all sorts of things as I'm digging through these numbers. This is fantastic. For just a +0, the average orbs for your Cyrene is 108. For Vanessa is 24. For Gilliam is 132. Ouch. Sharing is terrible. It's not caring. And then, of course, you've got Tana, who's at 118. Summoners. What can I say? Tell me who you're summoning for. Tell me if this is encouraging. I'd love to hear it. Take care and schedule an appointment with your FEHologist real soon.